Hello, everybody. Okay, Mike, if you'll start us with the mandala offering, please.
Yeah, thanks. Good morning. Sashi Puki Jukshin Me Tok Trom Rira Bling Shin Yende Genpadi Sange Shindu Mikte Wargi Drokun Namdak Shingla Druparsho Idam Guru Ratnamandalakam Niryatayami.
I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the song of the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, I will attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. Okay, let's see. Let's start with Katrina. What do you have to rejoice about today?
Yana, can you help me, please? Hello, everyone. Спасибо. Рада всех видеть. Я рада, что у нас сегодня занятие.
I'm glad to see all of you. I'm really glad that we have a class today. I'm rejoicing about a nice weather at last because we were a very special spring because it was cold, hot. And I'm rejoicing that I see healthy people around me, more of them. Some time in my life, I saw people who were suffering from health issues, and now I see a lot of healthy people. I really rejoice of that. Thank you very much.
That's a very nice rejoicable. And the reason you see so many people looking happy and healthy because you've helped others in the past, and the way to continue that is to help them in the present. So good. Keep up the good work. Okay, Katya, you're up next.
Hi, hello. I rejoice, my rejoice is in celebrating Teachers' Day here in Mexico. It's the Teachers' Day, and I feel so grateful to have wonderful teachers in my life, and especially rejoice in Lama Sumati and Lama Sarani for guiding us on this path.
Well, that's very nice of you. Teachers' Day. I don't recall we have that in the United States. Okay. So, are you all right? Do you have allergies or something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine. I'm sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I'm all right.
Are you okay? Okay. Well, we'll go to Anna. Anna, what do you have to rejoice about, or are you going to rejoice today?
Hello, everyone. Hello, dear Venerable Sumati. Thank you for opportunity to rejoice because it's my maybe the main fault. I very often I forget to rejoice about my different good actions. For today, I spent 1 hour and a half with my friend. She wants to start her own project in psychological sphere, and I try to help her with it. And today I explained her how to use Google Forms for different purpose. I hope it will be very helpful for her. Thank you.
Very good. And that's helping you. You're helping someone to communicate well. So dedicate that, and you will have in the future opportunity to communicate well with others. So good. Okay. Mike.
I keep trying to think of something to rejoice about. What do I got to rejoice about? Well, okay. I've been doing a lot of work on my parents, like on how I think about them and how I interact with them, and like just trying to like keep my frustration levels down. And um it started to my dad called me yesterday, and like my dad never calls me. And I'm like, I saw my dad's name pop up on my phone, and I'm like, what? Like, what is going on here? So I pick up the phone, and he just like wanted to talk to me, just have a conversation, which is like so abnormal. And like for the first 5 minutes of the phone call, I was like, what is happening right now? Like, how is this happening? Um, and then I'm like, oh, seeds, these seeds. So it was cool that I've kind of been doing this like targeted work on my dad very recently. And well, not very recently, but like over the course of the past year or so. Um, and it was cool to see, a little indication that that was working, because, for my dad to just randomly call me out of the blue is like, not something that happens. So, yeah, it was cool, and I want to rejoice in that progress one day at a time.
Well, don't get frustrated because it's coming from you. So don't get frustrated at your parents. Don't get frustrated at yourself. Just ripen that frustration and don't get re-frustrated. So that would have been I agree. Getting a call from your parents, having not received phone calls from them in the past, can be quite well, probably alarming to begin with. But okay,
I was like, is everything okay?
yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you smoking something?
Literally.
So okay, Daria, what do you have to rejoice in?
Доброе утро,
Good
Спасибо,
morning,
Сумати.
Venerable
Я буду
Sumati.
сейчас на русском, потому что я записываю
I will
по-русски. Вот. И
talk in Russian
рада
because I'm
встретиться.
recording in
У
Russian
меня
language. I'm
прошли
rejoicing,
прошлые
first of
семинары, я
all,
могу вам помогать
because my
по
past
буддизму,
seeds
какие-то вопросы
were
задавать.
out, and that is why I can
Я
help
радуюсь
you
этому.
and to other
А
teachers, and
второе,
I'm
я
really
рада, что
rejoicing
сегодня
that.
я шла на
And the
медитацию
second,
и решила
what I'm
через вами.
rejoicing about,
И там
today on my
белку
way to
остановилась.
work,
И когда
I
хотела
went
дальше
through
пойти,
park. I saw a
некоторые преградили
squirrel,
дорогу, просто голову
but
раз, 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 и преградили дорогу, чтобы меньше
but
махать. Я говорю,
doves
немножко
were on my my way, so I couldn't walk forward. And I thought to myself, oh, I have a pie. They maybe know about my pie. It was a vegan pie. So that is why with this pie, I feed birds. And also on my job, I opened the window. I saw doves also, and I feed doves again. So each morning we are doing Tonglen and Buddha Medicine Sutra. We are reading for people who are sick, because we have a list who asks us about this reading. We do that.
Very good. Well, rejoice in that. You're helping others. That's the whole point, is we're rejoicing in the things that we do now, and by rejoicing and dedicating, we make that capability to be something we can use. So by my teaching now and dedicating it to helping people in their studies, I'm basically assuring that I'll have teachers in the future, but I have to dedicate, and I have to think of the rejoicing with wisdom. So, Lena, do you have anything to rejoice about?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. I will speak in English and then translate to Russian, okay? Thank you for this amazing opportunity. I really have a lot of things to rejoice about today. I had a gardener this morning, and now my garden looks amazing. And also I did some refurbishment in my house. So I'm rejoicing that the space around me is getting better and better and better and better. So this is my main reason to rejoice.
Good. Well, go ahead and translate. Okay. Well, I've covered it. Svetlana, are you okay? You want to rejoice?
Yes, thank you so much. Today I was crying, and then my colleague gave me a hug, and it was very nice from your side. So I'm rejoicing in your kindness. Yeah, and then when I was feeling upset, I was trying to help someone else, and I tried to bear a baby carriage for a baby to carry it on the staircase. So I also rejoice in this help to others. Yeah, dedicate so everyone can have their help and support.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to see you sad. Okay. What do I have to rejoice in? Well, let me think about that. Well, I'm feeling pretty good. We've got the trip coming up on Sunday. 6 months ago, I didn't know if I'd be in any kind of shape to be able to go to this award ceremony. So cross my fingers and nothing happens between now and next week. But I'm pretty confident that I'll be okay. And my presentation's ready. Now I just have to pack and get there. So, and I'm excited to see Mike again on Monday. That'll be fun. I rejoice in having such a lovely, caring wife. I don't rejoice about that enough. My wife has supported me through all my writing. I spend hours in my office writing, working, and don't see her. And I just really need to rejoice for that. She supported me, and whenever I ask, I get stuck on writing, I'll ask her for help, and she'll say the same thing. She'll say, little did they know, she wants me to use that to start a paragraph. She thinks it's quite funny. It is quite funny. But she also really, how can I put this? I'm the cook in the family. I have been since we've been married. 99% of the time I do the cooking. And a lot of times we just have leftovers from several days and then kind of all put into a stew. And I rejoice that she has very rarely complained about the quality of the food. And then I know sometimes I don't leave enough time to really put something together that looks nice. But one time I did when we were first married. We were not vegetarians. I made a chicken dish with apricot glaze and took a lot of time. And she ate it and she said, dear, you don't have to go this much trouble. I thought, okay, I won't. So, but I don't taste much of anything anymore. And because of that, I don't know what my meals, I use curry a lot. I can taste curry to some extent, but I also rejoice in the fact that she accepts the fact that I'm cooking pretty much from memory as to what she likes. So I just time to rejoice my lovely wife. By rejoicing in my lovely wife now, I'm setting and dedicating it. I'm setting the seeds to have another lovely life in the future. Oh, I had a dream last night that I could fly. It was really extraordinary. I was perched on a cliff and it looked like I was going to fall, and I just took off and didn't flap my wings or anything, just took off. And when I got close to the ground, slowed down and landed on a couch and had a nice conversation with Venerable Geshe. So I have no idea what my dream means, but it was sure fun to fly. Oh, I know what else I wanted to rejoice in. One of my students had a close friend of hers pass away, and she wanted to know what she could do about what she could do to help him through the bardo. So I gave her some tips, and then I said, you need to look for a sign. And my wife and I know what we mean when we say looking for a sign. What we mean is, so you've done something, you need help to making a decision, or you say, I need a sign. And a sign is anything unusual that happens. For instance, I'm out repairing my bicycle and a hummingbird comes up and almost lands on my arm. That's a sign. It's a sign of something happening that is unusual. So if I'm looking for a sign, like I need to have a decision, I want to make a decision about something, and then I look for a sign, and that would be a sign. Then you get to interpret whether you're supposed to do it or not, but that's another story. So, no, speaking of hummingbirds, now that I'm on the subject, I've had the chance to hold a hummingbird in my hand. It stunned itself flying into a window, and its legs didn't work. And so I picked it up and we drove to a wildlife rehabilitation center. And I was holding this little hummingbird in this hand. And I'd always wanted to hold a hummingbird. So why that came up? Oh, because I was talking about hummingbird signs. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so I was looking for today's notes, and it looks to me like I skipped over class 4 and taught class 5. So that was careless of me. So I'm going to teach course 4 and class 4 now. But let's do our meditation first. So please Get comfortable. Okay. Relax your shoulders. Spine straight. Left hand over right hand. Eyes lowered or closed. Please watch your breath. We'll do a count of 10. I'll do the counting. Try and make them slow, even breath. Now go for refuge in the fact that the teachings we're having today can help us change our behavior in order to really protect us and truly help other beings. Next, develop your bodhicitta. Think of someone you know who's having trouble, mental or physical, emotional pain. Think how much you'd like to be able to help. Grow that feeling in your heart and think of how you could help them when you see them next. Invite your holy being to come and meditate with you. They sit in the air approximately 1 full-length prostration away. Life-size, smiling, happy that you are participating in this course. Now mentally prostrate to them. I think of a prostration as honoring the person I'm prostrating to. I'm not submitting to them, I'm honoring them. Think of something they've done for you and praise them. Now make them an offering. The nicest thing is to remember some part of your practice you did well today. Dedicate it so that you'll have the results of that in your future. Having helped people now, you'll have the help you need in the future. Now confess, regret a wrong deed you did in the past 24 hours. Do a quick 4 powers. Next, rejoice. Tell them about a specific goodness that you've done and know how it will affect your future. Next, ask for teachings, both formal and informal. Now ask for the teachers to stay, pray for their long lives, and continue involvement with us. Okay, shift around if you need to, and then we'll get started on the meditation. As with any of the meditations I give you, in these type of long meditations, you can modify any of the scenes to be more meaningful for you. So setting the scene, you're at the edge of a thick, dark forest. You're looking out into a clearing. There's a building in the distance. The building is made of adobe, has clay tiles on the roof. Between you and the building is a moat with an arched bridge across it, connecting the meadow you're standing next to the building. Between the moat and the building is a beautiful meadow with flowers and tall grass. And you can see what looks like a group of people over there, but they're indistinct. Between you and the moat is a clearing. There's the farmer's market going on. Lots of things to sell and buy. There's a food tent you can see nearby. You're hungry and thirsty, so you start walking toward the food tent. And people are grabbing at your backpack. There's some pretty cool stuff hanging off the back of it. It's jam full. As you walk through the farmer's market, you start thinking to yourself, oh, I need one of those, or it'd be sure nice to have one of these. Get to the food tent, you order a meal, and you say to yourself, I should go after I eat, I should go see what's in the farmer's market I could use. And you finish the meal, you pick up your backpack and you go, man, this is really heavy. I don't need anything more. In fact, I need to get rid of some of this. So you go to the bridge, you get to the arch in the middle of the bridge, you put your backpack down, and you start taking things off the outside, throwing them over the railing of the bridge, and saying goodbye to them. This is your renunciation. You think of things that are weighing you down in the sense you have an expensive house to pay for an apartment. You can't throw the deed away, but you can certainly resolve not to buy anything more and maybe even downsize. Maybe you don't need that big an apartment or fancy a house. Likewise with the car. You can throw away the subscriptions to the many newspapers you used to read, the magazines, the TV streaming channels. The important thing is not to have regret. So you're at the apex of the bridge, you're throwing the things over, and you feel lightened, and not enlightened, but you feel like the load's off your shoulders. We think about all the things we have, and this is the problem of when you die, you don't want a lot of ancillary thoughts going through your mind, like, oh, I wish I'd got a fancier house, so I should have given that away. I should have done this, I should have done that. You don't want that on your mind. And so by standing on the bridge and tossing the things over the railing, you're eliminating some of those very things that you realize could possibly weigh you down when you die. I had some picture clamps I borrowed from a friend in high school way back in 1971. And I still have those frames 15 years later. Well, more like 30 years later when I was at Diamond Mountain. So that kept popping up in my mind. And I finally went to a high school reunion and handed them back to him. But now that's off my mind. I tell a story, but I'm not thinking about how I really should return those clamps. So renounce, but don't renounce and have regret. By meditating on death, we come to see how useless and petty much of what we do every day really is. And because we do it blindly, we're perpetuating it. So you pick up your backpack, it's considerably lighter now. You cross the rest of the way across the bridge to the meadow. The pack is light, but you're still hot and sweaty, tired. You look ahead and you see a gauntlet of armed guards that you must pass before you make it to the building. They are menacing and they are scary. They represent the other kind of death meditation, where you practice the terror and panic of death. You know this, and so you muster your remaining strength and courage, and you run right past them before they can react. Suddenly, you find yourself in a peaceful meadow, refreshed, clean, and you have no more backpack. You are carefree, and you skip toward the building door. This is the front door of a large adobe structure that surrounds the courtyard. On the door is a sign, "Death is certain." You open the door. It's cool inside and dark. You step into the room, and are shocked to find a snarling, vicious dog just out of reach of you. It's been restrained by a chain, and it looks like it can't wait to sink its teeth into you. This is a representation of the Lord of Death. When he gets a hold of you, death is a certainty. You move to the center of the room and see a large hourglass standing on a table, waist high. The opalescent sand is flowing down quickly. And this represents the fact that your life's running out. The moment you're born, your life is running out toward its end. Hourglass is affixed to the table. Nothing can stop the flow of the sand. You can't take a rest. You must move on. You look beyond the table and see a corridor leading from the room. Because your life is slipping away, you run through the opening and into the corridor. Along the walls are images of all the different teachers you've had, teachings you've attended. You run by, not being able to stop and think about his teaching. This represents not enough time to study. It's great to go see all the famous teachers, but it's even better to see them and practice what you learned at the teaching. At the end of the corridor is a green door that says the time of death is uncertain. You open the door and step into a triangular room. You're at the apex and the base is across from you in the room with a red door in it. In front of you is the garbage can with a calendar in it, which says your, in my case, 72nd birthday circled. You recall that lifespans are not fixed, to think you will live as long as, well, what's the life expectancy for a male in the United States? I'm not sure. I'm certainly not sure with one who has Parkinson. But to think, oh, I'll live to the average, let's say the average lifespan is 84 years. To think I'll live another 12 years because that's the average lifespan is ignorance itself. You need to make time to study. You walk past the garbage can and now you find yourself in your living room at home. You see all your stuff around you, but know that somewhere in all of it could be a tripwire that will set off the bomb that will kill you. This is the realization that there is so much that can kill you and so little that can sustain you. You look at each object in your living room. Is that what could kill me? The lamp that sputters and doesn't really stay lit may have a bad wiring connection. Maybe you'll brush against the lamp and get a shock that could kill you. You have a beautiful IKEA glass coffee table, but instead of having rounded edges, they're sharp. You could trip and fall, hit your head against that sharp point, and find yourself very dead when it was just an innocent coffee table. This helps you recall the things that seem to be good could turn bad, be harmful to you. In a moment's notice, it's all karma ripening. You walk further out of the living room setting and you step on a thorn. It goes through the sole of your shoe. When you pull your foot out, you see some blood on it. You think, I could get an infection and blood poisoning from just stepping on this silly thorn. This helps us recall the body is extremely fragile. Now you're in front of a red door, and on it is a sign that says, only the Dharma can help. You open the door and go in. You enter a corridor like a greenhouse. You can see outside, but it's one-way glass, so nobody can see you. Nobody on the outside can see you. You stop on both sides of the corridor. You see your loved ones and your closest friends. They all seem to be having a good time and are unaware of you. You bang on the glass to get their attention, thinking, hey, don't forget about me. I may have died, but wasn't I a good friend? You continue walking. Now you see a room that's full of all your stuff, but it's disorganized, just tossed in the boxes with strangers going through it. Pointing out, poking out things, shaking their head, who'd want to buy this? That kind of thing. You start to get upset, but you remember you can't take any of your possessions with you. This is where renunciation also comes in. You can get rid of the very thing that you don't want to have an attachment to when you die. Or leave a burden for them. If you stop and think, for instance, if I stop and think, oh, I have all these boxes of data from my books. I'll just leave them there. Sumati can take care of them when I die. No, I don't want that burden on her shoulders, or don't want that to be the first thought I get when I'm starting to undergo death. I want to have the opposite. I want to say, I am so glad I took the time to clean out my office so my lovely wife doesn't have to do it. Now you're at the end of the corridor. There's a naked corpse on the right side on a gurney. You walk home and carefully look at it, and you determine it's your body, even though the face is featureless. This helps you recall that you cannot take your body with you. Your face, your name, your identity of this past life is gone. So what does go over the next life with me? Obviously my karma, my bodhisattva, my tantric vows, turn back into the corridor. There's a white door. You open the door and step into a turret-shaped room, like you'd find in a castle. It has slits in it high up. It is round, so it's like a cylinder. Light shines down into the very center of the room. To your left, leaning against the wall, is a staff, slightly taller than you are. You reach out with your left hand. It's important that it be your left hand. And pick up the staff, and it feels like it fits perfectly. It was made just for you. As you take it, you say to yourself, if it is sure that I'm going to die, I decide now to start my spiritual practice. No more putting it off. Take one step further with the left foot forward, left foot towards the sunlight, but not yet in it. As you do, you pound the staff on the ground and hear the sharp noise that it makes. This action represents your decision. If I don't know when I'm going to die, I must start my practice now, and I will quit my worldly ways. That means quit your worldly way of thinking. Don't quit your job and become a Dharma bum. But make sure what you're doing is contributing to your practice, which is 24/7. Step forward with the left light into the sunlight. Raise the staff high over your head. This represents your decision. If nothing but my spiritual life can help me, then I devote myself to my spiritual practice. There is no point in doing anything else, and I strive for gaining the highest practice. This doesn't mean quit your job unless you have the finances to not be a Dharma bum at some Dharma center. My wife and I retired. We retired fairly early. We saved our money to go traveling, and now we decided to go traveling through the Dharma and not through a ticket agency. But we had the money to be able to do this. It took some careful spending. The idea is to say, don't give up a job and have to struggle, but don't make the job your all-encompassing thing to do. You get home, work for another 5 hours, etc. I might have a caveat to that. If it's about the Dharma, you can work as late in the night as you want. You lower your staff and point to a door in the royal blue colored wall to the right of you. On the door, the words Dakshin Namje, equalizing self and others. Being concerned with others' benefit more than your own. These were meditations taught by Master Shantideva. Your resolution to practice only the highest practices gives you a desire to open the door. You've entered a large oval-shaped room with a big table and a person sitting at it. The table is set for two, and there's a serving tray alongside the table. You sit down and pull out a magnifying glass, signifying you're going to carefully look at the next person and try and understand what they want, what they would make them happy. You look and you're able to see the reflection in their eyeball, and you can see that they really want the plate of mashed potatoes and tofu, stir fry. So you reach over and you place that in front of them. This represents a physical level of serving others. You look again at their eyes and you see a glass of liquid of milk. And you can tell they would like to have that. So you hand them a glass of milk. This represents serving their emotional needs. Then finally, the most important part of the meal, dessert. You look again and you can see that they really want the piece of chocolate swirl cheesecake. You pick it up, and this represents you're fulfilling their spiritual needs. You get up and go to the next room. There are no doors between these rooms. Another table set for two, another person, a serving cart. Same scene, except this time the person is in your spot and you're in theirs. As they think about dinner, beverage, and dessert, they are you, and you get it for them because you're thinking the same thing. The distinction between you and them is still there, but it's fading as you try to anticipate their needs as much as you concern yourself about your own. You get up and move to one more oval room. In the center is a small cafe table and two chairs with a person seated in one of them. A nice cake is on the little table between you. There's a ball of red string, and you pick it up and you unroll it, laying it on the ground counterclockwise, encompassing the table and chairs, and tie the ends together. You deliberately step back in the circle. This represents breaking down the distinction between yourself and other people. The other person at the table asks, "Why didn't you put the string between us?" You answer vaguely, "Just arbitrary." You sit down and simultaneously both react with reach with the ring finger and tap each other's foreheads at the third eye. This represents recognition of the common enemy, suffering, and the mental afflictions that came from it. You recall it's not just enough to struggle with my own mental afflictions. If we see others suffering, we need to work on and help them with their mental affliction. You both realize there's not actually just one fork at the table. Both pick up the fork and magically take a bite of cake, and both eat it at the same time. This represents the democracy principle. It's incomplete to make efforts for our own happiness when billions of people are equally wanting to be free from suffering. You get up and walk to a silver door. You open it and you see that you're ready to enter a hexagonal-shaped room. This is where the death meditation meets the Lamrim Bodhisattva room. Okay, you can open your eyes. Okay. So, the Abhidharma Kosha goes on to describe the specific geography and different kinds of humans on different continents. Geshe Michael chose not to teach that. He thought it was more important to understand the sufferings that are unique to humans. So if you've taken many of my classes, you know I like lists. So this is going to be a short list. It's a list of 6 sufferings. We try to explain to someone why we study Buddhism. We need to lead by saying it's all life is suffering. We know what we mean. That's what suffering, samsara is, the suffering life cycle. But how about the other guy? They may say, I've had a great day. I have a nice house, a nice life. And we say, no, it's all suffering, birth, age, old, sickness, and death. And they say, well, yeah, you may be right, but I'm still young. I'm healthy. I'm okay with what's the big deal? Why are you obsessing about suffering? What is your problem? Look on the bright side. You're very depressing. The first Panchen Lama says human suffering is hard to understand, and that pleasure beings are even harder to understand. Neither is suffering moment to moment like the other realms. Who is really suffering? What is suffering? He says real suffering is described by the 6 suffering list that are constantly with us as humans that are pleasure beings. Most people do not even know they have these sufferings. If we really want to help people, we must stop these 6 sufferings. So, first suffering, nothing is fixed. Everything shifts so unpredictably one minute to another. Why is this? What's going on? The very nature of a desirable thing is that it's a projection. The karma shifts and projection shifts, and they appear to change. What changed? Is a valid perception but not correct? They're coming from you, not them, because your karma shifted. When they are wonderful, your ripening result of your own past wonderfulness, singing 64 finger snaps per minute, they can turn into something rotten. You're ripening the results of your own rottenness at 64 snaps per second. So things change. Cannot get any satisfaction. When we see something we want, we go to obtain it. It becomes part of us. And this is supposed to make us happy. Sooner or later, we'll no longer be happy with the thing we went all this effort to get. And then once again, we have them. You want to start to have more. It's as if this pursuit of happiness is a pursuit of suffering because it never stops. Think of examples for yourself to see how we're never really content. It's very important to remember Buddhism is not about learning to endure suffering. Rather, it's to learn to stop it. Now, I would add my own 2 cents to this. Buddhism is not about learning to endure suffering. Buddhism is about where the suffering is coming from and how you can take care of it. I think it's important to think of where it's coming from, your past deeds, pure, simple, nobody else's fault. And the third of the 6, shedding our body over and over. This one is that we have a natural prejudice to care for our own body more than taking care of other people's bodies. We're obsessed with our body and getting its needs met. This obsession makes us think and do and say things that we put our own body before others. We withhold health and such from others, and this is a non-virtue. Number 4, we're reborn over and over again. How is this suffering? Well, I gotta think it's suffering to be ejected from your mother's womb into a room with a bunch of people with masks on, COVID or not. I think it's gotta be incredibly painful for the woman giving birth. The guy pretty much doesn't have much to worry about, although I'm trying to think of a way to put him into the suffering realm as well. He doesn't know what there's kind of a male or female, but it's got to be something more than that. But you suffer the pain of coming through that narrow tube as a 6-pound baby or whatever, and she suffers because she had to push that. to get it to come out. After high comes low is number 5. Success and failure come in waves. The projection shifts and cycles. Karma ripens, wears out. The projection shifts and cycles like this by one of the nature in which they were caused. Karma ripens, wears out, good, bad to good, good to bad. Because they're only karma, projection driven by karma. Number 6, there is no companion. We're at the flow of our karma. We're at the mercy of the flow of our karma. This is why karma cannot be transferred to another, why Buddha cannot fix ours for ourselves. We are a result of what we did before. Our path is unique. The continuum of each of our minds is and always will be separate. We share the same nature, but a separate being. The implication is that we're always alone. We'll always lose any companion that we have, either by separation or death. Especially at death, you're absolutely alone. After death, you're absolutely alone and nothing can go with you. So never be willing to do a bad deed for anyone, not a friend, a parent, or even your lama. Though a negative deed sticks in your mind, mental continue, because in the end, you're all alone. And that brings up, well, we'll get to this outside the meditation. So I think the ultimate suffering that we need to get from this is the fact, well, see, I was going to say the suffering is in a sense it's all our karma, but I keep thinking to myself, the suffering for me is when I don't think about the fact that it's my karma ripening and I have control of that. I don't have control over the karma that's ripening now, but it's not coming from anybody else. It's my fault. I do have control on what I think and do and say now. So the suffering to me is not knowing, it's like the pervasive suffering. It's not knowing what's happening next. On the other hand, I take great solace in the fact that it's all coming from my past actions. Nobody is doing this to me except myself. So for some reason, that's quite comforting to me. Because I can't, if I really believe that, I can't blame anybody else. It's my fault. There was a TV show based on James Thurber's writing. It was called It's My World and You're Welcome to It. It was a wonderful show. It's showing my age. It's got to be 1965, 60, good Lord, 60 years ago. So you've got these beings, you've got the level and where they stay in the realm. And we have to think of all of them when we're doing death meditation, or we're rejoicing, or we're trying to help all beings. And I think one way, as I said earlier, I think one way to think about the hell realms and the other realms is to think about the immensely wealthy, the not so immensely wealthy, the poor, and then the really poor. And that's just financial. Now think about the world from the standpoint of armed force. You've got the people in Ukraine and in Russia and in Yemen who are suffering from missile attacks and bomb attacks. You've got the suffering of people after a tsunami who've seen their life wash away. You have the suffering of the people in Los Angeles, where we saw a special recently which showed how much of Los Angeles burned. I never in my life thought I'd see Los Angeles, any part of Los Angeles, burned to the ground. The houses perched on hills, that's one thing, but it swept through the flat neighborhoods. Just extraordinary. But all those people lost everything they had. If they were lucky, they had a bank account with some money in it. But just think, go back to your apartment or your house and think, what would it be like if all of this was gone? I come back to my house when I forget to lock the file cabinet that I put things into that I want a burglar to have a little more trouble getting to. I come back to my house and I think, what if everything was gone in the house? And now I stop and I think, well, that'd be a beginning. If we move from the United States to Hermosillo or Guadalajara or Lake Chapala, um, we're going to leave everything except I'm going to take my computer equipment and hopefully most of our Dharma books, but we're not going to move furniture, even though it's furniture we've had I don't know if you can appreciate this, but we bought the furniture in our house, the teak furniture, Kachi has seen it, in 1980, so 45 years ago. We have furniture older than many of you, and that's ridiculous in one sense and wonderful in another. But can I give that up without regret? I don't know. I like the furniture. Okay. That's all I've got for you today. But I think I've asked this before, and I'd like to try it again. Now that we've had some more coursework, try and think of the one thing that'd be hardest for you to give up. And I'm going to write on the card that I asked you to do this so that I don't forget, and we'll discuss it next class. Now, next class is not going to be next week because I'll be in DC. So let me write this down. Okay. Enunciation question. Okay, I'm putting this right here on my file cabinet for Kim. Okay. Well, Let's do our dedication. By the pureness of the power of my intentions, by the power of blessings of those gone thus, by the power of the realm of emptiness, may all the goals that I may have and all my wishes, whatever they may be, come true with perfect ease. O Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, please listen to what I now say. Just as all the previous Sugatas generated the mind of enlightenment and practice in accordance with Bodhisattva precepts, so shall I too, in order to benefit all that live, give birth to bodhicitta and follow its precepts. Okay. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. And I'll have some pictures of the award ceremony. They can see what I look like in a tuxedo. It's going to be, well, I'm very curious what it's going to be like. But thank you for all being such wonderful students, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're all welcome. That's my pleasure. I hope you feel better, Svetlana.
Thank you so much. Good luck in Washington.
Thank you. I'm ready.
Good luck. See you later.
Okay, bye-bye.